In story number 9, we're going to talk about moving past your fear. In the book, the chapter is entitled Finding My Purpose, and the question in the book is, will my pain be used for a bigger purpose? And I found that the number one thing that keeps us from our purpose is fear. We're afraid of facing things in our life, afraid that we may be found out for the ways that we have not been enough. But I hope that through telling your story, you have come to understand that the hardest things in your life don't have to take you out. The failures, personal failures, and the failures of others towards you do not have to shape your future. And in fact, some of the greatest storms of our life and the greatest disappointments, we're talking about the disappointments that we never saw coming, they actually can be the very thing that propels you into your purpose. I love Genesis 50:20, the story of Joseph, and where he says to his brothers, after he has forgiven them and helped them find what they need to survive, he said, listen, you meant it for evil, but God meant it for good, for the saving of many souls. And that is the same thing for you and me. God wants to use the very thing that threatened to take us out, the storm, the disappointment, the trial, that hard thing. And he wants to take that thing that's in our hand and he says, will you trust me to use this? Will you trust me to birth a purpose greater than what you could ever imagine out of your pain? And when we say yes to God, everything changes, because now we're no longer stuck in the story of our own, but we've begun to step into the stories of others. And in this story this week, you're going to get to share what would it look like if you moved past the fear and stepped into your purpose. What are the purposes and dreams that are buried deep in your heart? Do you have them? And do you have thoughts and ideas of what life could look like if you were not afraid? For so long, I was held captive by fears that were really self-centered, actually. I feared, what would people think of me if I tried to write a book? What would people think of me if I told my story? It was very self-centered. It wasn't about seeing other people set free. It was about what would people think about me. And over the course of the years, God has realigned my purpose in life to say, I have called you and equipped you and anointed you to set captives free. This has been spoken over my life for so many years. It actually grieves my spirit that I waited so long to do what he's called me to do. And believe me, I have been petrified to do this. Every one of these videos, up until the day that I videoed, scared me to death. That's just me being vulnerable and honest with you. It's still a little bit scary. But here I am and I'm doing it. And you can do it too. We don't have to be in front of 1,000 people to make a difference. God has a purpose for your life. What makes you come alive? What makes you excited? I love sharing truth with people. I do it in airports. I do it on the streets. I just can't help myself. I know how you could try this or you could do that. It's just within me. And it's been that way for years in my life. I don't have to try to be that person. I come alive when I'm empathetic and caring and loving towards someone in pain. What about you? What makes you come alive? What do you believe would excite you? Your healing came so that you could fulfill the work of God. It may be in your family, it may be with your friends or your community, or even a bigger audience. But this time, this story is beginning to press into that fear and move beyond it, because you know who God is now. You're reshaping your mind and your thinking to who you are and who he is. And the Spirit is healing your soul. And now fear has no place in your life. For God has not given you a spirit of fear. He's given you a spirit of power and love and sound mind. And that is the power to propel you into your destiny. And so I stand with you today. I'm excited for the stories you're going to share and how God is going to move as you step into your destinies.